Simon says, are you ready? Lord of mercy. Follow me, 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 follow me. Follow me, 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 follow me. Show me say red like green like 1, 2, 3. Me hope every massive can follow me. Me say red like green like 1, 2, 3. Me hope every massive can follow me. Simon says, put your hand in the ear and wave them like you just don't care. Simon says, when your body straight down until you touch the ground. Simon says, jump up, 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 cause you know you are the cream of the crop. And if you love this style and you're not tired out, me want the crowd of people come ball and shout. Simon says, 1, 2, 3. Me hope every massive can follow me. Red like green like 1, 2, 3. Me hope every massive can follow me. Simon says, get your education, cause you know that the style of fashion. Simon says, stay away from the jokes. It will attack you like a dangerous bow. Simon says, stay away from the crime. You know you can't take the time. Simon says, me I go drop it on the very last gear. Lord, don't know if follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me, me, follow me, follow me, follow me. Lord, follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me, me, follow me, follow me, follow me. Lord, uno for kick, open side to side, uno for kick, open side to side, uno for kick, open side to side, uno for kick, open side to side. Simon says, do the water pumping. Simon says, do the Pokemon jam. Simon says, do the one put together. Simon says, become a bubble on your toe. Say Simon says yes, and Simon says no. Say Simon says stop. Simon says go. Who do follow me? Follow me. that was me back in the day. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That was me back in the Disney family. What? That was a song called Simon Says. And I'm live and direct. A lot of mercy. Exactly. A lot of mercy. That was me back in the day called Simon Says. That was an album that was done at the Jammy Studio in Waterhouse, Jamaica. Big up to Jammy's production and studio back in the day. I know King Jammy's, man, long time bridgman for years. Big up to Johnny Wonder, who was the producer of that album that I did years ago. And that album did not release. Only singles came out of that album. But, hey, I made it up to number 5 on the reggae chart with Black and White Story back in the day. So it is what it is. Now, as you can see, family, we are going to touch on the 9/11 commemoration. We're going to touch on a few things, as you can see, inside of what is being said. But I definitely want to touch on the day-to-day numerology of different people. Not going to be too long. It might be half an hour to an hour, but I'm not going to be too long. It is now 9:32 in the East Coast, on the East Coast. So it's 32 minutes after the hour all over the world. 32 minutes after the hour all over the world. Let me make sure my phone is charged because I know how this works. I might go to the phone lines. I'll let you know which number to call if I'm going to go to the phone lines because I think since this 9/11 thing that, everybody's commemorating the 9/11, I have to say condolences to the families that were lost in that 9/11 tragedy back, 18 years ago. And what's so interesting, we lost a great comedian, Dogface, back in the day. He used to be a comic that used to frequent a lot of the comedy places. And because I was into comedy back in those days, and I was into comedy, I was producing comedians and producing shows that time. And we was doing what we had to do back in those days. I was working with people like Monteria Ivy. I'm still a comedic MC, but comedy has been part of my journey for many years. Love getting on the stage with comedians, working with people like Monteria Ivy. I spoke to Mugga, who's been featured on Orange is the New Black and various other things. And Freddie Ricks, good friends of mine, Sync, good friend, Fig, people like Talent I've worked with before, Capone, Rob Stapleton, and a whole host of comedians that I work with. But in the World Trade Center disaster back in 2001, we lost a great comedian and friend in the comedy fraternity, and his name was Dogface. I can't remember his real name, but that was his name in the comic strip, in the comic world, as far as being a comedian. So enough respect to Dogface and his family, and condolences to all of them and all of us that have lost someone, because there were a lot of people. I know friends of mine like Aton Edwards lost some people that worked in there and in that building. So moving forward, just want to big up some of the things that's coming up. Make sure you share this. Take the time out to share, because I will be sharing some very important information. Kind of hot in here, boy. The lights in my eyes. That's the problem with me and number ones being born under number one. Them lights in your eyes be really affecting. So let me get my glasses. Let me get my shades or something that's to diffuse a lot of that stuff. Yeah, let me get my glasses to knock some of that down, because when you want to protect your eye, especially being born on the 1st, the 10th, the 19th, or the 28th of the month, anything that adds up to that number one. And if you have a multitude of ones in your chart, those are the possible ailments that can arise as you're getting older. And I am born on the 1st of the month, so I understand it from a whole nother level. But also, I got to say condolences to my family. We lost a great aunt. One of my aunties who was in my family was dubbed as the historian, Aunt Marie. She was born June the 6th. I didn't get the year, but I know she was up in age, but she was known as the family historian, which is so interesting because June 6 plus 6 equals 12. And she was one that knew how to express herself. That 1 plus 2 equals 3. That's the expressive number of talking and expressing and expanding herself in multiple ways. She knew how to talk. She got into controversy when it comes with her talk. She didn't hold back her tongue, because people born under the 12 alignment number or the 12 energy at some capacity has to always be willing to express themselves and don't hold it in. And they got to express themselves in a timely fashion. So we always got to be people born under that number 3 energy always got to talk it out. And if they can't talk it out, they got to write it out. But my auntie, she was one of those people that talk it out, chit-chat. She knew how to chat. And like I said, my aunt just transitioned yesterday, last night, as a matter of fact, on the 10th. And if you study numbers and the challenges of different numbers in numerology, the 6, the number 1, and she passed on the 10th. Now think about this. She passed out on the 10th. She transitioned off of an asthma attack, and then she passed on the 10th of the month. And the number 10 equals the number 1, and 1 is one of the challenge numbers to the number 6. And what's so interesting is that when you add the June plus the 6th day that she was born on, plus the year that we're in, that adds up to 2031. So it tells me she was also in her 6th personal year. So my aunt was also in her 6th personal year. And then she transitioned on the 10th, which was one of her challenge and stress numbers. So let me explain something to you. Most of the transition, at least 90% of people who transition or die usually die on their challenge days or their challenge months or their challenge years or in their critical cycles. Yeah, very interesting. And sometimes heavy health cycles. So there's 3 different periods of time or cycles and seasons that we're in that we have to be very careful, especially if you're older. Older people should always be careful during their critical cycle. They should be careful during their challenge numbers that they're connected to or born under, and they should be very alert to that at any cost, because sometimes those things can cause even much more of a problem, where their problems gets more extended and more exasperated in some form or fashion. So we got to be very mindful, especially of older people, what they're going through and how they're going through. So today we're just going to touch on a few things going on. I want to talk about, like I said, my family historian. Matter of fact, my auntie, she was the one that told us about our relationship with Grace Jones. Now, Grace Jones wasn't per se a blood relative, but her family was close to ours in Spanish Town, where to the point that they called her Gracie. she was called Gracie. I thought, because the narrative changed, but when I went to her, she said no, she wasn't a relative, but her family was very close. The Jones family was very close to our family, which was the Walters of my father's side, which was in Spanish Town, Jamaica at that time. So they used to call her Gracie. Gracie was her name. So I remember, and so it's very interesting that Grace Jones, who at one time I thought we were related, but in actuality we was just close family members in the town of Spanish Town in Jamaica. So I was corrected by my auntie, but I kept holding on to that because when I did go and meet Grace Jones knew who I was talking about in that era of time, because she grew up in Spanish Town and then left at a young age, but she knew the Walters family, and she knew the Jones and the Walters was quite close together. I'm not even sure if any of them married into each other's family, but I know that was the case. So my aunt, she was that historian that told us that we came from the Maroons and the Arawak, and she knew that history. And what's so interesting, her being born June the 6th, I don't know the year yet, not till the funeral arrangement I'll find out the year. The 6th is the educational number, the number that seeks education, that seeks to learn. Anybody born on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th, they love to learn. They love to learn different things. And my aunt was one of those people that loved to learn. So enough respect to her. I put her name on my ancestral altar until I get her picture, and I'll put it on there, because she was something else. Believe me, when I say my aunt was something else, she was something else. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. So, and what's so interesting, her challenge numbers, according to numerology and the study of numerology, is the 4, the number 8, and the number 1. Those were my aunt's challenge numbers, being born on the 6th of the month. Now, and what's so interesting, she died of an asthma attack. And when I looked up, and this is a good book to get for your archive, Michael Brill, Numerology for Healing, and your personal numbers as a key to a healthier life. Good book to have in your library, especially those that are entering the healing modalities. If you're getting into natural healing and all that, this is a good book to have in your library, those that are teachers or those that want to know the possible things that are attracted to it. When you look up the word asthma in this book, in this book, the word asthma adds up to a number 17, which is an 8. Now, like I said, my auntie is born on the 6th of June, and her primary challenge numbers and stress numbers is 4, 8, and the number 1. And when you go to asthma spelled ASTHMA. Let's go to the board. Let me show you. I'm not playing games. And he's using the Pythagorean system. He's not using the Chaldean system. He's using the Pythagorean because a lot of these Europeans like to stay on the Pythagorean. Asthma, ASTHMA. So he's using the Pythagorean system. Now, if you look on that side of the board, that has all of the systems. Well, some of the systems I have on there, which is the ancient Chaldean, the Pythagorean, and the Nine system. So what is interesting is that when you do the Pythagorean system, the 1 is here, the 1 is here, and the 2 is here. Under the H, the 8 is here, and under the M, 4 is there, and 1 is there. So when you add the numbers, 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 8 plus 4 plus 1 equals 17. And 17 is an 8. And in his book, he says asthma adds up to the number 17. And like I said, that's one of my aunt's challenge numbers, and she died of an asthma attack. Not a coincidence. It's mathematically showing. Now, being that your daughter is born on the 4th, born on the 13th, the 1 and the 3 is a 4. And what's so interesting, in Western numerology, the 4 and the 8 are challenge numbers to each other. That is what's so interesting about numerology. It reveals the possible ailments and situations, sicknesses that you can deal with that you will come up with in your family if you don't learn to reverse the effects or if you don't catch it on time. So what he says in this book on page, Michael Brill, who is the author of this book, what he says in this book, he says asthma equals 17. He says dealing with the seven indicates anxiety about making mistakes and being abandoned. There is an associate fear of being judged to be less than we think we are. The number 1 represents this anxiety can produce rapid and shallow breathing. And there are also issues involving frustration or anger or money or personal power situation and social recognition. I'm very interested in why he said that, because some people would deem my aunt as a very angry person back in the day because she was very verbal and she would cuss you out in a second. I mean, she would pull out a knife on you. She'll even pull out a gun if she had it, but she would cuss you out at a moment's notice. She was one of those people that use all of the clots. Everybody in Jamaica know what the clot is. The bumbo clot, the pum pussy clot, the ras clot. She used to use all of those. I think those are adjectives, I think. But she used to use all of the clots there. And so people would think my aunt was a very angry person, like an angry Black woman, but she was just one of those people that came from a certain part of the ghettos of Jamaica back in the day, Spanish Town, and she was the one that really expressed herself. So it's not surprising that they said this anxiety can produce rapid and shallow breathing, and there are also issues involving frustration, anger, money, personal power, status, and social recognition. And I say that because my aunt was about making that money. She had owned villas, she owned houses, she was about that money, but also anger issues, probably dealing with the husband or personal powers in the family and all that kind of stuff. But always about family. And there's certain, when you read number 6, is always about, when you see a number 6, and being that she was born on June the 6th, people that are born under the number 6 are always about healing. Getting your life together as far as healing from and forgiving the past. Not forgetting, but always healing and forgiving from the past. Please share this video. Please share this video. Please share this video. Please order the book. Get those books, man. Anytime. You always have to pay attention to certain numbers. Get these books that I show you. It's all right. You might not be as proficient as I am with the book, because I also break down an interpretation to be able to connect it with the traumas and all that kind of stuff. I'm very good at that, because that's what Numerovation is all about. My hybrid form of numerology is all about bringing forth a motivational status out of you so you can recognize the 2 most important days in your life is the day you were born and the day you find out why you're born. So numerology helps you to do that. So again, condolences to my dear aunt. We're waiting for the funeral arrangements from her daughter. And once that comes through, we will deal with that. But like I said, asthma equals number 17 in the Pythagorean system. In the Chaldean system, it's a different thing, because when you deal with the Chaldean, that's a 1, that's a 3, that's a 4, that is a 5, that's a 4, and that's a 1. So, of course, that's 10, 13, 17, 18. So this adds up to an 18 in the Chaldean in the Chaldean system. Again, 1 plus 3 plus 9 plus 6 equals 19. Actually, that's 19. Sorry, that's 19. 19. Sorry, that's 19. Oops, did I do that right? Let me see. Hold on. Let me make sure I did that right, because we are doing. That's why I tell people. That's why I tell people, when it comes to names and breaking down names, you have to make sure the addition is correct. So let's see. 4 plus 9 plus 5 equals 18. That's 18. That's right. That's 18. And which is so interesting, because they say in his book, it says anger. He says there are also issues involving frustration, anger, money, personal power, status, and social recognition. The number 9 on its negative rules anger. The number 9 on its negative rules anger. The number 18 on its own validity, that rules that things that they could be making money and finances through war and upheaval. Anything dealing with that heated element, that heated energy. So that is also powerful, and it's also significant. That's why in numerology, when I do your charts or do your consultation, I read your name with both systems, and in the Chaldean system and the Pythagorean system. But there's also deeper meanings when it comes to the more mystical meaning when it comes to the Chaldean, and more practical meaning when it comes to the Pythagorean. But both of them serve its purpose. So the 9 and the 8 serves its purpose. The 18 and the 17 serve its purpose, as because those numbers have a separate meaning also as a compound number. So no problem, Philip. Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, my auntie's name was Marie Phillips, with the S at the end, Marie Phillips. So Auntie Marie Phillips, big up, because she married my uncle, which was Tommy Phillips. And she's there with her son. Her son transitioned a couple years ago, so I think only a daughter is left right now, my dear cousin Karen. So enough condolences to the family. But once again, numbers don't lie. People lie to themselves. And when you start studying numbers, you can study it from multiple perspectives. I will be teaching classes online. So those who want to get my 10-week class session, please don't be afraid to email me. It's only $4.99. That's basically $50 per class. It's only $499 for my classes, and that's 10 classes, and that's basically $50 per class. That's a steal, because I know it's worth more. Many people have told me it's worth more. I know it's worth more, but if it's online and you're going to be given a link and you're not going to be talking to me personally, 10 classes, $50 per class, which is up. I'm charging only $4.99 for the class. That's nothing for all 10 classes. You're going to get a lot of information, and each class is going to give pertinent information that you'll be able to study for at least, you'll have the link for at least 2 to 3 months, and you'll be able to study it for yourself. And if you become proficient, beautiful. If you don't, that's up to you. But I do want people to learn numbers for themselves. It's all about self-learning. That's what it's all about. It's all about self-learning. And then once you do help yourself, you help the family. That's what it's all about with me. You have to help yourself, and then you help your family. I am ambidextrous, so sometimes I will write with my left hand, but my mother, when I was learning my left hand when I was young, I was adapting and working with my left hand. My mother kind of forced me into my right hand, so I write with both hands. Actually, I draw with both hands. I'm very good at drawing with both hands. I've done pictures when I used to draw with both hands and all that. So I can still do my thing as I do it, but I write like a lefty. I would write like a lefty, but that's just what it is. I could write with my left and my right. I learned to do that years ago, but I grew up with it. I had both of them, but sometimes your parents force you to do what you got to do. So if you want to if you do want to get those 10 courses, you can email me at numbersaresimple@gmail.com. It's only $4.99. That's basically $50 per class. Believe me, it's worth it, because it's a lesson it's valuable lessons, because universal principles like numbers will never go out of style. Universal principles like numerology or astrology and those type of things will never go out of style. And it is not a pseudoscience. Understand it. A lot of people try to do that, but everybody studies numbers, because numbers only means the study of numbers. So mathematics in any of its form is a study of numbers. It may be an abstract perspective of it, but it is a study of numbers. And that's what their great so-called great scholars like Pythagoras and Isaac Newton and all of them profess to be studying numbers and understood its connection, not just from multiplication or adding or subtracting, but also from a perspective of how it relates to the human existence. Because if the universe is mathematics, how in the world we're on Earth in the universe and we're not part of that math? It just don't make sense no more. It doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So I find that very interesting. So what else I want to talk about? In my last broadcast, I spoke about the sneak peek months. The sneak peek months. The sneak peek months. Some numerologists will say it's from October October is the sneak peek month moving forward into December before January come in. But I will dare to say September is the first sneak peek month before October, because September, and what we know September to mean now, adds up to the number 9. And 9 is a reflective number of the past year and the year to come. So that 9 represents an ending of something, but also the transitioning into the beginning of something before it reaches October, which October is known as the 10th month. That's why they call it that's the beginning of what you're going to see coming up. But 9 also reveals that too. 9 is the revealing, because whether you add, anytime you add the number to itself, anytime, let's say we add 2019 to the number 9 plus 9. Okay, so 22 plus 1 plus 2019 plus 9 equals 2028. When you add those numbers together, it adds up to the 12 again. So 9 brings back the reflection of that number that we're coming out of. But when you add it to 2020, same thing happens, because 2020 plus 9 equals 2029. And of course, 2 plus 9 is 11. 11 plus 2, all right, 11 plus 2 is 12, is 13. That's the 4. So the 4 energy comes back. So again, 9 September, in my studies and in my research and in my my studies, is really the sneak peek months of what we're leaving and what's to come. What we're leaving and what's to come. That's why a lot of things are showing up, like the Malik Yobas and all this kind of stuff that's going on with the trans community and all that, because we're going into that year of the number. We're going into that year of the number 4 energy. We're leaving the number energy of revealing. So this thing had to be revealed in September even more. It has to be brought out even more in the transition into the number 4 energy, because the number 4 energy deals with weird and unusual situation coming up. So if that's the weird and unusual situation, and the communication issues are going to be heavy with people on the streets in the number 4, although 4 is a foundation number, it's about building. They're trying to build their foundation for something moving forward into the future. That's why the 4 exists. That's why the 4 year is coming up. And then it's 2020, which, let's get that out here. 2020. What are the 2 pronounced numbers you seeing there? Master number 22. 22. The lower octave is the number 4. So it's very, very important that you understand it. But also the compound numbers represents 2. Compound represents a certain amount of advancement, amount of judgment being passed. A lot of judgment is going to be passed in the 2020 year. Also, a lot of achievements and advancements are going to happen in those areas. It is 20. Remember, 20 in the tarot in the tarot numerology is the number of judgment. There's going to be major judgment going on. Judgment on people's character, judgment on people, what they're doing and where they're going. That 2020 adds more, and that 2020 adds up to 40. Again, the 40 adds a little bit more depth, and it adds more extremities every time you see the 0. Man, I could go into it. My classes, those classes are going to go into the 0. It's going to go from the 0 all the way to 9, each one of them and how they prospectively work. So my 10 class series is going to deal with the 0. At first, have to deal with the 0, and then it's going to go all the way to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You got to understand that. So being that we're moving into the 2020 energy, that 2020, that number 2, that 2020 master numbers represents something. It represents a master builder, and something is masterfully done, either on its positive or on its negative, because like I always say to you, family, that numbers have duality. Where there is a spiraling up, there is a spiraling down. And then there's a complacency. Some people stay complacent. But on most of it, either you're spiraling up in a cycle or you're spiraling down on a cycle. That's where so numbers have a duality. So from 0 all the way to whatever, 100 and 0, whatever. It's all, every one of them have a duality, has its so-called constructive and has its so-called destructive. And it's just totally how you use it for yourself. It's your intentions. So we can go into all the gematria stuff and all the why the buildings of 9/11 fell and all that. My position is always dealing with you, the individual. It's about you being better. You can study all that other stuff on your own. You could go study under A.A. Rashid, who teaches about Kabbalah, who go study under Red Pill and Blue Pill, or Blue Pill, who teaches on gematria, who go look those things. But my premise of doing Numerovation, my name that I invented to move forward, is to motivate you with the numbers so you can be better. So if you have the number 22 in your charts, you see the number 111 or the triple ones or the 4 ones or 444 and all that. In gematria, it might mean a different thing. In Kabbalah, it might mean a different thing. But I guarantee this, that if you listen to what I say as far as the motivation of the number to take yourself to the next level, it will help guide you to be your best in this realm. Because at the end of the day, all of us like to say, know thyself, know thyself, know thyself. It didn't tell me to know the world trade. It didn't tell me to know whether, it says to know yourself and what you are going to do. But the other distractions, forget the distractions that are coming up. Trump is a distraction. American government can be a distraction. Am I telling you to just stop participating? Of course not. I'm telling you to take care of you first and then take care of your family. Just like it says on the plane, when there's something going on the plane, if there's a plane about to go through turbulence or crash, when that oxygen mask drops down, who do you take care of first? Who do you take care of first? You take care of your first. Even if you got a baby, you don't take care of the baby first when the oxygen mask drops down from the plane. You take care of your mask, put your mask on first, and then take care of the ones that's unable to do it after. That's what they teach you. I already trademarked the name, sir. It's already my word. I got it on the website. I own the website. I own the word name itself, and it's all dated. I already trademarked it. You're too late. I already got that. I see. So it is what it is. So moving right along. Now there's a situation going on with the football player Antonio Brown, which is interesting because people used to call me Antonio back in the day because Anthony Brown is one of my middle names. So and Simon is one of my names also. So when I seen Antonio, I went and looked up his birthday. He is born 7/10/1988. Now they're saying allegedly they're accusing him of rape, which is interesting because 7 + 10 + 1988 equals 2005, which is a 7, which is a 7 energy. So there's a lot of secrets. There's a lot of things that he holds in, things that he keeps to himself. He's in deep meditation. He starts, but because he's in a number 11 personal year. And how do I find that? How do you find out what's 11 personal years? Some of y'all should know this. You add the month that you were born. You add the month. You add the day, and you add the year that we're in. And what's so funny, what did I tell you? September marks the sneak peek months of what's to come. So when you add that 7 plus the 10 plus the 2019, it adds up to 2036. And of course, the 2 plus the 3 and 6, which is 11, is the number 11. Now, number 11 is the number of deception or people trying to deceive him or also him into a deception year. But also the number 11 is like the number 7, the number of revelations, things being revealed either about him or about people around him. And I'm talking about Antonio Brown, the football player. I'm talking about Antonio Brown. So if you don't know, I'm talking about Antonio Brown. He's in his number 11 personal year. And this thing is coming up in September because the sneak peek months is showing you the number 12 year, which is a 3. And like I've said about the number 3 is the number of exposure, expansion, expression, scandal, recklessness, all of that. So it's coming up on Antonio as he's going into this next year. So he's already feeling the effects of it heavy, because when you Google up Antonio, they're talking about these sex allegations. Just to go show you how this cycle is working. I already spoke about Malik Yoba. I spoke about Coffee. I spoke about Daniel Caesar. I spoke about all these different. I spoke about Buju Banton when he was in his cycle, when he was going through his family stuff when he came out of jail. And sure enough, his son came up and popped up and do his thing. I'm just showing you how this thing works. Everything has a cycle. Everything has a season. And once you pay attention to the cycle and the season, you'll learn to be in the right place at the right time and train your mind and your thoughts to be more on the higher vibration of the number instead of going towards the lower vibration of the number. So that's why I study, and that's why I teach numbers. That's why I do this stuff. So moving right along. Like I said, one of the books you should get is this book, Numerology for Healing. Very good book. I wanted to touch on this book because this book is called The Complete Numerology, The Complete Book of Numerology, Discovering the Inner Self by David A. Phillips, Ph.D. Now, anytime I see complete, I always say, okay, stop playing. There's nothing, you can't complete numerology, because if numbers are infinite, then the information that continues to go on and grow on is infinite. So anytime I see complete, it's a good book to get for references and information. He died in 1993. He's born 1934, which is quite interesting to me again, because I just said something to a lady on the live free. What 1 + 9 + 3 + 4 equals the 8, which equals 17. He died in 1993, which adds up to a number 4. And like I said, the 8 and the 4 in Western numerology, not adding it, the 8 and the 4 in Western numerology, are usually challenge numbers to each other, or they might call it malefic numbers to each other. They always have a problem with each other for some reason, but not in Eastern numerology, not in the East, not in the African numerology, not in the Indian numerology. They don't have a problem with each other. As a matter of fact, there are multiple of each other, and they work very well together, because both of them are the numbers of discipline. And then when you add those two up, that's 9, 10, 11, 12, it adds up to 12, which is a 3, which deals with expansion and growth. 8 and 4. But 8 and 4 in the Western numerology, which is so ironic, is that he was born in 1934, which adds up to a number 17, which is an 8. This guy right here, and then died in 1993, which is a 4. So that was one of the challenges, because he stays on the Western aspects of numerology. I don't stay on the Western aspect. If I see that in your consultation when I do that, then I give you a warning about it. But I let you know to stay on the higher frequency of the numbers. Don't follow the lowest frequency, because somebody could be born on 8/4, which is August the 4th, like Barack Obama or Paul Mooney. Anybody, see, but if they stay on the higher, Barack Obama represents the higher form of his numbers, where sometimes Paul Mooney, because he's been through so much stress and so much stuff in his life, he can be part of the lower form of it. That's why he turns every tragedy into comedy. That's why he turned tragedy into comedy, because there's the positive and the negative. Tragedy is the positive, and comedy is the tragedy is the negative, and comedy is the positive. Comedy is a positive. So most comedians, you find that there's a lot of comedians out there that went through depression. So they turned their tragedy into comedy. That's why you see those two faces of the smile and the sad face in tragedy and comedy. Study. And once you finish study yourself. Yes, family. Yes. That's what it's about. So I'm not going to be here long. Like I said, I just wanted to show you a few things and show you what's going on. This is a good book to get, Numerology and Complete Book of Numerology. Very good book to have in your library, in your connection. Also, when you're dealing with day to day or people born on different days, if you want to find out your personal day, let's say you're born October 10th. And let's say this is 2019. This is the year 2019. So somebody born on October 10th, if I wanted to find out their personal year, this would be their personal year. When you add all of this up, this would be your personal. So 10 plus 10 plus 2019 equals 2039. And 9 plus 3 is 12, 13, 14. So this would be their 14, number 5 personal year. A person born on. So how you find your personal year again, you add the month that you were born, the day you were born with the year that we're in, add it all up, break it all down to the lowest common denominator as far as the number is concerned. If it adds up to a number 11 or 22, you try to keep it there as much as you possibly can, but most people default to the lesser number of the 11, which is a 2, or the 22, which is a 4. Most of y'all do that by default. Those are the lower octave, but these are the higher octave. Master numbers are supposed to stay master numbers. And even in his book, he acknowledged the 10 as being some sort of master number or some type of master potential. And he acknowledges the 20 as being some sort, but he more acknowledges the 10 of being a master potential number, because the 0 adds potential to anything it precedes. The 0 adds potential to anything it precedes, and even the number 30, it adds the 0 adds potential to anything it precedes, like the number 3. So studying these things, people born on the 10th, the 20, and the 30 have a lot of power behind them, a lot of powerful master number potential. Like Rihanna's born February 20th, and look at what she's doing with her product and her business right now. Rihanna born February 20th. People like going into the conscious community, Brother Polite, born on August 10th. No matter how you feel about him, he has definitely used his numerology and moved up. He even wrote a numerology book. Polite wrote a numerology book called Solar Numerology. I have the book in my collection because I was promoting Brother Polite when he was doing metaphysics and health, because he got cured by Dr. Sabi. The 30th, people like Young Pharaoh is born on the 30th. Brother Garfield is born on the 30th. People like Minister Inky is born on the 30th. People born on the 30th are talkers, but they always get into a lot of arguments and sometimes reckless talk. Sometimes they can go reckless, or they can stay in the constructive and expansive talk, but yet they can get into a lot of arguments with people. And if you notice, Inky used to do a lot of that. Respect to Minister Inky. Garfield, he's into it because he's battling Hebrews and all that. And of course, Young Pharaoh, he got into a lot of that battle with Sanet and all that. So I see all this in the conscious community too. I see all of that going on in the conscious community. That's why you see I stay in my lane. I stay focused. I don't get into all that comment. I don't get into stuff with Polite. I don't get into stuff with people born on the 20th. I don't know too many people in the conscious that's born on the 20th. I got to look a lot. If you didn't tell me your birthday, I won't remember it. But if you tell me your birthday as far as somebody in the consciousness, I will definitely keep it in my database. But I know those people born on the 30th, they go through it. They go through it a lot because the 3 always bring recklessness. If you're not responsible, it stays reckless. For instance, a person like Umar Johnson, born on the 21st, equals a 3. He goes through a lot of different controversy and all that. He's passionate about what he does. He's a leader at what he does, but his expansion, his passion, and his leadership leads to that number 3, which could either be reckless or it could be responsible, depending on his intentions. And it's also a number connected to the sign of the planet Jupiter. So it deals with expansion and growth on multiple levels. So he's supposed to expand. He's supposed to grow. He's supposed to be an orator, because number 3s are the speaking number. Those are the highly influential speaking numbers. That's why James Brown was so successful. That's why Star from Star and Buck Wild from Star Report was so successful at what he did and how he did things. I can go on and on and on and on and on. But again, I just want to keep it simple. It is now 43 minutes. I've been up here. It's 10:12. Want to remind you, of course, got a few things coming up before I close down. Don't forget this coming Saturday, free forum. A free forum is called the Vaccine Forum with Dr. Phil Valentine, Dr. Gary Noel, Curtis Cost, and many hosts of people. I'm also going to be speaking and giving a testimony on stage myself, because my children with my second wife. We went through the vaccine exemption. At least 3 of them did. And that's happening September 4th at 12 noon at the place called the National Action Network on 145th and Lenox. So if you're going to be there in Brooklyn, New York, come to Brooklyn, New York. I'm not Brooklyn, New York, in Manhattan, 145th and Lenox Avenue. That's in Manhattan at 12 noon. Brother Phil Valentine will be there. Dr. Noel will be there. Brother Curtis Cost will be there. It's at 12 noon. It's absolutely free. It's the vaccine forum. We're going to talk about vaccine exemption, which states are allowing it, which states are not. That's what we're going to deal with. On September the 22nd, we got a tribute to Dr. Delbert Blair. Please go and get your tickets for that. It's only $12.99 in advance. We got the extended early bird tickets right now. The other sold out. So the other one sold is finished. So this one, you can go to King Simon, KINGSIMON Productions .wordpress.com for that information. If you want to get tickets for that Dr. Blair tribute, of course, with special invited guests, Red Pill and Blue Pill, they'll also be vending. Ross Ben will be there, also vending. Sister Kafunya will also be vending. My boy Ankh Risenson will also be vending. Sister Bishop Renee, who is a dear friend of Dr. Blair, used to be at all the meditation circles, will also be vending. Myself, I will be there speaking. And also Joel Benjamin will be live streaming it on Joel Benjamin 528. That's happening on September 22nd. In the month of November, let's deal with November 1st before. November 3rd, I'm going to be working with Black Magic 363, Brother Rich, Father Rich, with Billy Carson. We're expecting to get that venue confirmed this week, sometimes this week. November 3rd is what we're going to look at. Remember, that's a daylight savings time, so you got to be very mindful of that. The clock, I think, goes backwards, so we got to be very cognizant of that. On November 3rd, Black Magic 363 presents Billy Carson. He has a great book that I bought called The Emerald Tablets. Also before that, the day before, November 2nd, my brother from Quasi is supposed to be doing Dreams Turn into Reality. He's supposed to be bringing somebody special. I know I'm going to be the opening speaker for that for like 30 to 45 minutes on how to use Numerovation for motivation, because I think he's bringing in one of the young entrepreneurs that's supposed to be coming in. That's going to be big. All right. October the 16th, this young entrepreneur named Obucho Peters will be doing a 2nd annual financial literacy seminar. He's only 10 years old, and he's teaching financial literacy. That's a 10-year-old brother born on December the 28th, and he's doing it October the 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. for free at 43 Snyder Avenue. 43 Snyder Avenue in Brooklyn, New York, from 6 to 8 p.m. Absolutely free. Make sure you go to his email and email him at IamObucho. You see his name up the top, IamObucho at Gmail, so you can get yourself in. Also, he has a Eventbrite. That's obucho101.eventbrite.com. That's obucho101.eventbrite.com. Again, let me see what else. My anniversary, my celebration, 24 years in production. The tickets are on sale right now, $24.99. And I got KT, the Arch Degree, his beautiful wife, the Oracle, will be breaking it down about health. And we have, of course, Abundance Child that will be breaking down about wealth, because she owns a very successful business called Drop Star Kitchen, and she'll be cooking also for that event. We have Joshua Sarah, who will be coming from a mathematical perspective, from his perspective, and I will be coming from a mathematical perspective. And we have one more couple. We're trying to confirm the Acoma couple there, the family that does the Acoma Village, the Acoma celebration, trying to confirm that. So that's going to be at the St. Francis College. We're trying to make sure we confirm that and lock that down. That's going to be my 24th celebration and promotion and production on November the 10th. So please make a note of that. And I am doing a Borough tour. Get ready in 2020. I'm going to have astrologers, numerologists. I'm going to have also disaster prepared experts, how to prepare for disasters, urban disaster, or outside situations in the woods, how to deal with those type of things, what to carry at all times. Also understanding your numbers, understanding your astrology, your tarot, and all that. So that's going to be a borough to borough tour. We're coming through all the New York boroughs, and we'll even come to various cities. Not all of them might not be available to do all of the events, but definitely I will have always an extra person with me to do those events. So if you want me to come to your city, want me to come to your town, or you want to do a private session with a private class with me, at 10 people or more in your family, or deal with your friends and family, you want to do. I remember a doctor named Angela, she brought me into her friends and family at her house, and they paid a certain amount, boom, and we did what we had to do and made it happen. It was a great all-day workshop with their family, her family and friends. They ate food, drank, and all that kind of stuff. But I was breaking down their numbers individually. They paid for everything, and everybody was able to get at least a half an hour reading for everybody throughout that day after I explained to them what numbers is and how it can help them. All right. Also, I'll be coming to Georgia in December. I'll be coming to Florida in January. I'll be in Texas around February. I'll be in Arizona in February. Also, I'll be bouncing from Texas to Arizona in February. And then I'll be heading to Vegas. And I will be more than likely, I might be in LA in the month of March before I return to New York. And I'll be away from New York for at least 4 months. December, January, February, March. At least 3 or 4 months I will be away from New York, but I'll be doing other events. So if you want to book me in your city, make sure you share this to people in Georgia, Florida, Texas, Arizona, Vegas, and LA. And if you want to book me in there, you want me to be an opening speaker, or you want me to be there, as long as you handle some business and make sure everything is wrap up and seal up right, and everything is transaction through PayPal, everything is right and going well, boom, I'm there with you. That's how it's going to work. And I'm very simple. You know, we're looking at, Kevin, we're looking at Houston, Texas. My son just moved out there, I think, to Austin, Texas. So I'll be doing something in Houston. I just linked up with a person that's going to be helping me out. So I'm going to link up with that sister out there, but I'll be doing something. And then I have a friend of mine in Houston, Texas, named Clark. She produces a lot of events with a few friends of ours out there. So I'll be in Houston, Texas, Kevin. Houston, that's what we're looking at. Houston, Texas. But remember, my website is King Simon, KINGSIMON Productions.wordpress.com. You can go to that website. I'll be posting some stuff up, but keep on going to that website. Go to that website. It will be up definitely on that website, because I put stuff up there almost every other week. KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. Go to that website. I will be in Georgia, Florida, Texas, Arizona, Vegas, LA from December all the way to March or April. So those are the places that I will be frequently. And if you want to get any product, any merchandise, you can go to KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com/products. I got my t-shirts. I got my books up there. Of course, my books, no promotion. Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. Then I have one called Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated for Children. Also, I got my book on promotion. No promotion is bad promotion, and all publicity is good publicity. This is the revised version of No Promotion is Bad Promotion. Just spell my name right. It is on Amazon. It's on Amazon. It is on Amazon. You own universe. Yeah, that's right. You own your own universe. Once you understand it, that's how we work. And let's not get spooky. Numerology, the study of numbers, is just to help guide you to make it to the highest level. That's why I specifically pointed out inside the back of my book, and I'll read it to you, a quote from Paracelsus, a quote from a well-known scholar from the past named Paracelsus, and he wrote, "Men are superior to the stars," or men and women are superior. I put the women because it got to be balanced. Men and women are superior to the stars if he or she lives in the power of superior wisdom. Such a person, being master over heaven and earth by means of his or her will, is a magus or magi. And magic is not sorcery, but supreme wisdom. Magic in its purest form is not sorcery. And I think we have a misconnotation, misunderstanding about sorcery, because the root of sorcery is the source. It's people that takes the word sorcery and turned it negative. The root of magic is the magi's, and those are the wise men that taught different things and different alchemy and different sciences to the world. So we got to acknowledge that if we learn these different modalities, we don't become ruled by them, but you help them to you help use numbers in astrology to propel you through that vortex of being your own self, being your own universe, because you are automatically your own universe. That's why this is the temple of the creator, and it's connected to the universe. All we have to do is tap in, and numerovation or numerology helps you to do that. Astrology helps you to do that. Cosmophysics help you to do that. Cardology helps you to do that. All the things that all our brothers and sisters are doing out there, like the Rahu or the Aquarius Maximus and the blue pills, those people are doing things that to help you to be your very best, as long as you strive and thrive to be your very best in this realm, because that's what it's all about, being your very best in this realm and taking it beyond. So, hey, like I said, I got products. My book is out there. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. So make sure, woo, that was good. We had a good time. Make sure this is one of the books to get, by David A. Phillips. This is another good book to get by Michael Brill. Very good book to get if you want to indulge in your studies. This is also a good book to get. Mine's. This will give you the basic information. Then I give you all the names and the recommended reading in the back. Another book, I have recommended reading on promotions in the back of this book. Lloyd Strayhorn's book, Numbers in You, very good book as reference books. These are reference books. Remember, these are all about references, how to refer certain things and learn certain things about different numbers. This book on angel numbers by Doreen Virtue, very good book. Angel number 101, very good book to have in your library. Also, when you want to recognize angel numbers. On that note, let me play one of my songs and get on out of here and step back to the rear and get on out of here. You know, like various radio personalities used to say. Once again, condolences to my dear family, my aunt, rest in power, my auntie. Love you much. Rest in power, my auntie, Aunt Marie, who was known as the historian of my family. She just transitioned yesterday. And it was an honor to know her and be a part of for her to be a part of the journey. She was something else. But she said what she mean what she said, and she didn't hold her tongue when it came down to it. And she would get into some scandals sometimes with that tongue, because her alignment number adds up to a number 12, which is a 3. So, you know, I am always a master student, ascended master student, because I'm always constantly learning. Always constantly. You will never not see me with a book. If you see me on the street, you see me with a knapsack, but you'll see me with also in my knapsack, I have books, I might have flyers, I might whatever, but I am always studying, because you're never too old to learn, and you're never too young to teach, and vice versa. You're never too young to learn, and you're never too old to teach, vice versa. Keep it going. You know what I'm saying? In the dojo, in the martial arts dojo, Sanukas Rule. That's one of my family members in the martial arts. That's Moses Powell on there. Sanuka's rule, they used to say, each one teach one. That's what they used to say in the dojo. Each one teach one. So when we break off into separate people, we always teach each other the moves, teach each other the technique. That's what. So each one out there is supposed to teach one. And I'm gonna close with one of the dojo sayings. It says, one of the dojo creeds is, one of the dojo creeds for us is that man or woman of martial arts is a man or woman who thinks at all times, a man or woman who thinks at all times. And also it says, as we walk, I want to do, that's what we're going to start with. That's the creed. And I have it in the back of my book. I have it in the back of my book too. It's a very important creed that we used to say in the dojo. It says, as we walk in peace, and fear will not prevail. We are not the aggressors, but if we are attacked, we fight with those who fight with us. And if we must fight, we fight to the death. That is our dojo creed. And I've been saying this creed for the last 30 years. Let me see. Let me make sure that is absolutely right. Because it's 2019, take away 1990. Yeah, 29, 30 years. I've been saying that creed for the last 29 or 30 years from a dojo. As we walk in peace, and fear will not prevail. We are not the aggressors, but when we are attacked, we fight with those who fight with us. And if we must fight, we fight to the death. Man and woman of martial arts is the man and woman who thinks at all times, who possesses speed, form, technique, power, gracefulness, and sincerity and humility. That is our dojo creed. I didn't even have to open the book no more. It just came to me because that is what we're taught. That's how I walk in the streets at all time. If you're going to attack me, make sure you come right, because I'm going to go back at you and meet your attack with the same amount of propensity and the same amount in learning how we use jujitsu and aikido and all these different modalities and boxing and all the stuff that we've learned. I'm going to use it back on you, and may the best man or woman wins. It is what it is. But that's how we're taught by this teacher, Master Moses Powell. And that's how we're taught by Professor Brill, by Little John Davis, by GM Anthony Muhammad, by people like Master Ronald Duncan under Aikido Jiu-Jitsu, and all the various other great masters that I accredit as masters that I've watched over the years, or I've learned either verbally or physically over the years in the dojos of life. So remember, this is a dojo of life. Learn to protect yourself. Learn how to defend your family. Learn how to defend yourself from people coming. Learn weapons. And if you're going into a dojo, learn the knife weapons, learn the gun technique, learn all of that. If you're going to take on the guns, if you're going to practice one of your rights as to bear arms, then please, family, what you have to do is go and train. I personally don't believe, because we believe that we will win a gunfight with an enemy like this so-called enemy in that sense, physical, because we don't make the guns, we don't make the ammunition. But as long as you got this and that spirit and energy in you, we are the winners. Once you understand the spirit and the energy within you, they can't control that. We are the winners. They're trying so much to control it. We are the winners, because our spirit and energy is just waiting to be released. And once it's released, nobody can control that, but it's all right. Understand that we are the winners anyway. I'm not worried. You see me smiling a lot. Y'all see me smiling, and I've learned to not use just my smile to cover up things. I've learned to use my smile to say, hey, life is but a dream. We're here on earth, and we're all going to eventually pass on. Why worry? Just do it. 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 Whether you fail at what you do, you learn from your failure, you move on and keep on moving and doing. And if you succeed at what you do, then you keep on taking it up the ladder, whether it's a high level or whether it's a moderate level, whether it's a modest level, whatever it is. Keep on doing. And getting a numerology session with me, or numerovation session, will help guide you to the next level. I don't care if you're already successful, because you always need advisors. And I am a real intentional advisor for parent, child, business person, people going through sickness, whatever you're going through. Numerology, astrology can guide you. And like I say, I do a thing called numerovation. Numerovation. That's what I do. I motivate you with the numbers. That's what it means. Using the numbers as a motivation for you to go to the next level of your life. I ran into a sister today, and she said, I did reading with you, Simon, and I'm moving to Texas. And she's moving to the right part of Texas because she's an Aries. Aries is also connected to the number 9 energy, but also it's a good number for the number 1 energy that Houston, Texas is ruled by. So that's a good place for her to go. It's a good place for her to expand herself. And after my reading and session, she's gone to that next, she's doing her thing. Then she brought her friend, and I started breaking down her numbers. You could see the joy in that person's eyes when I dropped the information that I had to share. And that was her first time in Nicholas. And I was just dropping it off of her birthday. That's all I was doing. I was just dropping it off of her birthday, breaking it down real quick. And you could see all of her you could see her relief that I confirm a lot of things. Remember, numerovation confirms what you may already be thinking, but you don't want to make that move because you're not sure. So if somebody that you don't know is confirming it, or if I do know you and I start confirming it, come to find out that same sister used to be in Club Temptations with me back in the day. So that means she was one of those sisters I used to see her in the nightclub party and have a good time doing her thing. And she was saying she was something else. And just by her numbers being born on the 20th, when you're born under that 2 and that 0, there's the extremity. The extremity of that 0 adds a lot. So she's gone through the relationship issues. She's gone through the companionship thing. She's gone through the energy, vampire energy stuff. And she's healing now because number 2 is one of those healing numbers. Number 6 is a healing number. Number 8 is a healing number. All those numbers are feminine numbers. So all those people that are born under 2, 6, or 8 have the propensity or have the ability to be healers of this nation, to help heal others, to help nurture others. This is more of a material and physical, material and spiritual need, but it deals with money and finance and using money and finance as a humanitarian need. This is dealing with more nurturing. Number 6 is dealing with more nurturing and consoling and actually giving more to the family. And 2 is dealing with companionship and compassion and love and all of that. So once you understand that each number has a meaning and why that person acts the way they are, whether if they're on their positive or their negative vibration, that's totally up to them, because everybody is given willpower. Everybody has willpower that either determines whether you're going to go towards the constructive part of your numbers or the destructive part, which is a negative. And that's where we are as individuals in this realm, because like Lloyd and others have said, we can get along with everybody. It's just that some people are a little more stressful or challenging to the other, unless you learn to understand the perspective of where their charts are, whether it's in astrology or numerology, whether you're using any of those modalities. It's all about a matter of perspective, and it's a matter of how your will is going to accommodate or allow for yourself to work with the other person. It's all about working with each other. So my classes are in depth just like that, but the primary focus of my class is to raise you up and make you go to the next and keep on learning. You don't have to stay with me. Hey, go study with Brother Panic after that. Go study with Brother Phil Valentine. Go study with Sister Queen of Four. Go study with Queen Need. Go study with all the other great ones. But numbers is going to help you, give you a foundation so you can continue to build and move on. And it will continue to show you your cycles, whether you're staying whether you're shooting up for the higher level, or whether you're staying complacent, or whether you're going down on a more destructive level, especially for adolescents and juvenile and children. And some of them might not want to listen right now, but if I do a reading for a juvenile or somebody young in their teens and all that, believe me, they're going to understand. But it's up to them to make the move. We can't force. You can't control your children. I'm only going to give them their understanding of their numbers from an objective perspective. And objectively, the numbers will give you positive and negative, or positive, obstructive and constructive. And the more you stay in the obstructive mindset, the more it becomes destructive. And sometimes they have people around them that keeps on bringing this destructive energy out of them. So that's where they follow. And sometimes some people end up dead. Some people end up jail. In my case, I would have ended up either in jail or dead at the age of 15, which is a number 6, which is one of my challenge numbers. So I knew where I was heading if I didn't change myself, if I didn't leave my mother's house and didn't move out at that time. I ran away at 16, 17, ran to Jamaica to get some peace of mind, became Muslim. After I left the 5%, I became Muslim because I needed the discipline, not looking for any God. I already know who God is. Who is the original man? Original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet, Earth, father, civilization, God of the universe. I already know who that was. Me. I knew who I was. But when it came to studying Islam or Nation of Islam or the Ansarullah Islam, they brought a certain discipline. They brought a certain unity that I can respect. They didn't just let us be out there. They had a certain focus and a certain control that I needed. That was my journey. I needed to go through that journey. I'm being quite open because this is going to be in my book, my autobiography coming out in 3 years, called When the Late Bell Rang. That's the name of the book, When the Late Bell Rang. I own the website to that too, so stop playing. When the Late Bell Rang. Okay. Enough. Time to go. I'm so glad we had this time together just to have a laugh and sing a song. Here's my song that I wrote in the 90s, 89, 90s called One Life to Live. Have a great evening. Stay at peace.
We only have one life to live. We only have one life to live. We only have one life to live. And we are to live it. Don't even strive on negative vibes. Cause you won't make it. No matter what they say. You should always try to live a positive life anyway. We only have one life to live, and we have to live it. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it, no matter what they say. We should always try to live a positive life anyway. We all know time is running out every day. The people they know that life is not a game that we play. If you're not sure about this test, I want the whole world to confess that we all should try to live our life the best way that we can. So I know we only have one life to live, and we have to live it. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make